The moon smile on you, adventurers. My name is Jason Forbus. I'm the author of La Notte Eterna for 5th edition. La Notte Eterna is a high fantasy setting for Dungeons and Dragons next. Uh, what are the particularities of this setting? Well, to begin with, we're in a world where the sun has stopped rising since 161 years ago. What happened is that the gods are at war with each other, and the god of light, Laon, has been made prisoner by within a prison of darkness by the god Damien. All these gods are at war against each other with their powerful and angelic or demonic armies fighting alongside them. Whatever fight, whatever action they take in the world of the gods has consequences on the mortal land. In fact, apart from the state of eternal darkness that has followed the imprisonment of the god Light Laon on the world of Neir, um, there are other occurrences, divine occurrences that affect mortal lives, such as meteors. Meteors are angels, demons, and powerful artifacts that fall on Neir occasionally, given the mighty blows that these gods inflict to one another or to their angelic and demonic champions, making these creatures, these powerful divine creatures, fall from the world of the gods upon the mortal land. There are adventurers that have made their life mission the search of these meteors. They're called the meteor hunters, and they travel across the lands of Nair, searching for artifacts, demons, angels, powerful divine creatures that might change their lives for good or for worse. Sometimes they find a dying demon that promises them power in exchange of its life, or some other times adventurers might come across a powerful and cursed artifact. There are also merchants that trade with these meteors. This means that unlike other settings, other Dungeons and Dragons settings for 5th edition that are normally low fantasy in the sense that finding weapons and magical objects can be quite difficult, and it's something that players can find only in dungeons or very special circumstances. In La Notte Eterna for 5 edition, what happens is that adventurers can actually find such powerful artifacts at a merchant's shop. As I said, there are these merchants that trade in meteors in all the major cities on Nair. Of course, this gives more value to gold pieces, as gold pieces normally have in other settings. I do appreciate what Dungeons and Dragons did with this new edition, as regard to going back to the origins of the game. What I didn't like so much was that most of the most epic things of the game, in my view, in my opinion, were kind of taken out. Uh, Players are no longer have the possibility in 5th edition of becoming this mighty heroes, this creatures, these heroes that the bards will write about. But they become more down to earth adventurers that risk their lives on many occasions. So what La Notte Eterna for 5 edition does is add to the game the sense of epicity. You can again play an epic character. This doesn't mean that you won't be playing a character at a low levels and see your character growing session after session, but it means that you can make your character grow session after session and really reach divine levels and the levels of power that are normally precluded in other settings or in Dungeons and Dragons 5 edition in general. So it's not just about the lore of this world that following the disappearance of the sun has become a very dark world, a very dangerous one. The ancient kingdoms have fallen. New creatures have invaded most of the land. Many of these creatures coming from the hidden lands, which is the Underdark, how it's called in La Notte Eterna for 5 edition. This includes a new playable race. Well, apart from the Boranox that you see on screen right now, Boranox is one of the many monsters that we added to Dungeons and Dragons 5 edition. We will be publishing together with the main setting. We will also be publishing a full bestiary, including several new monsters, 3 new dragons, fierce creatures, terrors of other planets, and devils, demons, angels, and much, much more. So there is also a new playable race that comes from the Hidden Lands, the Underdark, as I said, which is called the Karevi. The Karevi are one of the 3 new races that you will be able to play with in La Notte Eterna 5 edition. They're a slender version of humans, shorter, slender, more slender. Their eyes are completely dark. Their hair can be dark with some red hooves. They're the perfect race for all those who wish to play rogues, assassins, or in general make stealth one of their preferred skills. Then, the other 2 playable races that will be introduced by La Notte Eterna 5 edition are the Urakians. The Urakians are half beast, half man. They're the newest race in the setting. They were created exactly by a meteor. The goddess of magic was slain during the celestial war that the gods are fighting in Rengaria, the world of the gods. And it has fallen on the mortal land in the shape of a meteor. Upon hitting the land, it's the radiations that it released invaded a vast southern region of the world. And basically what happened is that humans and orcs that lived in this region fused their bodies, merged their bodies with those of animals that were in the area. This created tribes of hawkmen, lionmen, deermen, and etc., etc. The setting will be introducing for this new race a full table with the various features that the player can pick from. So based on the type of base animal that you will choose, you will gain certain features. For example, a new feature has been introduced for social animals, such as deers, for example. So if you play a deer man, what happens is that you have this feature called social that gives you a bonus when you're fighting, when you have allies fighting alongside you within a 5 feet distance. And again, each base animal adds a special feature. All Urakians, however, have common traits such as dark vision, such as natural attack, and bonus to dexterity and strength. This, as I said, is the second new playable race that will be introduced by the Notte Eterna 5 edition. And let's move on to look at the Woloy, which is the third playable race in La Notte Eterna. The Woloy are a race that originated from an alien world, from another planet. They are far descendants of dragons, so they have arcane blood flowing in their veins. This grants them special abilities and special powers with magic. So this is the race you want to play if you are into spellcasters like myself. They live in an archipelago region in the far north of the world of Neir. I will upload now the map of the world of Neir. They live in this archipelago far north. It's in a megocracy. This means that you can see it now in the top right corner of the map. You will see the kingdom of Nu, which really is a megocracy that is governed by three archmages in the three major cities forming this nation. You can see that on the right side, you have the known lands, which are inhabited by several civilizations, kingdoms, most often at war with each other. And on the left side, you see the Dragonlands. This is where the vast portion on the left side of the map, which is the west in terms of directions, is where the dragons have flown after their defeat several thousand years ago against the mortal races. Dragons have flown to the west of the continent, which has been renamed La Rastra, and no mortal humanoid race is allowed within its boundaries. Among the several kingdoms the world of Neir, there is the kingdom of the vampires. Vampires play a major role in La Notte Eterna 5 edition. After the fall of the sun, after the disappearance of the sun and the falling of the eternal darkness, vampires have crawled out of their crypts, have joined together with fellow vampires, and have created a vast army of undead soldiers, including skeletons and ghouls and others. With this vast army of the dead, they have started invading kingdoms. Most important, they were the ones that gave the final blow to the vast and ancient empire of Gundazar, which they razed to the ground before moving to other nations. And eventually, the few survivors of this vast undead army established a vampire nation that is governed by a few high blood vampires, which are powerful vampires that govern over lower ranking vampires. And basically what they do is breed humans to feed on, which is again one of the features in terms of lore that you will be dealing with in game. Again, in addition to these three new playable races, we introduce several new mechanics for 5 edition. The mechanic of meteors that we were discussing at the start of the video. So you have angels, demons, creatures, and artifacts falling on the mortal land. And we will be providing the game master and the players with a table where all these artifacts are described in detail, in addition to the creatures that the adventurers will be able to encounter during their travels in the world of Neir. Then we will also be providing information on when these meteors could be encountered, how, why, and this also provides a game master with several starts for possible either side quests or proper quests. Whenever a game master feels like she or he needs to add some spice to the story, then the meteor is what you're looking for, because it's falling on Earth can really shake things up, and also shake the destiny of an entire region or nation. And in case the meteor that falls is a powerful artifact or a powerful extra-planar creature. So in addition to this mechanic, we introduce another mechanic that is called divine inspiration. You're all familiar with the inspiration mechanic in 5th edition. Your character, the player is rolling its character really well. And basically the game master rewards the player with the 1 inspiration point. If, for example, you're playing a knight that has sworn allegiance to the king no matter what, upon defending the king before an assassin that would have otherwise killed him, and also risking his life, the knight gains an inspiration point. What happens with divine inspiration is that these points are given whenever the character performs a feat that makes the character closer to the god that the character is worshipping. You need to realize that the world of La Notte Eterna 5th edition is a world where the gods are present everywhere in the daily lives of every mortal at various degrees. So each mortal worships one god or several gods, just like it happened in the olden days of the Roman Empire. For example, when you had when people would worship Jupiter and worship several other gods. And the same is true for La Notte Eterna 5th edition. So if one of your characters, for example, worships one particular god, what happens, for example, you're worshiping a barbarian you're playing a barbarian, a chaotic evil barbarian that worships the god of massacre. The barbarian goes to a village, kills everyone in this village, and makes a sacrifice to the god of massacre. The god of massacre rewards a barbarian with 3 divine points, divine inspiration points. In fact, unlike the regular inspiration, with the divine inspiration, you can gain from 1 point to a maximum of 3 points per feat of devotion. You can also accumulate this divine inspiration points up to 10 divine inspiration points. And you can spend this divine inspiration points on several types of actions. Each is described in a table that is provided in the setting. And you can, for example, at very high levels, you can spend 10 divine inspiration points to gain the semblance of the avatar of your god, and gain some incredible power to fight your enemies, or to carry out a specific, particularly dangerous mission. This, of course, can only occur from the 15th level onwards, because it's a very powerful feature of this mechanic. We also provide specific information on what kind of features or what kind of powers you gain when you assume the semblance, the avatar of your god or goddess. Based on the type of god, that you gain certain powers. For example, if you worship the god of thieves, the cat god Mascar, you gain extra points in stealth, and you gain the ability to teleport in whatever you want, etc., etc. So in addition to the divine inspiration and meteor mechanics, we introduce yet another mechanic, that is the mechanic of true magic. For those of you who have played, for example, 3.5, Forgotten Realms, you might have some clue, you might have some memory of what the true magic was. This is a feature of the game that always interested me, to attain very high levels of power in terms of magic. So what I wanted to do was to give back to the players spells that could truly shape in a permanent way the reality in which the players, the characters played and moved their steps. So with the true magic, you will be able to create islands, destroy islands, protect life, invest regions of the world, destroy, totally annihilate life in certain regions, and much, much more. True magic, the true magic mechanic is based on a ritual system that is described in for each spell, for each ritual of true magic. You will be provided with the exact description of how it works and how it can be performed. Of course, it is something that you can encounter only at certain levels of the game, and that you also can also start new quests, because if, for example, you're playing a party and the spellcaster is looking for some very high form of magic, the game master could create a quest for which the adventurer, the wizard, will have to undertake a certain mission in order to find an ancient scroll that is kept in a dungeon, guarded by a dragon, etc., etc. So there are many possible hints and starts for adventures, also thanks to this new mechanic. And of course, we introduced dozens of new magical objects and new artifacts, in addition, of course, to providing very thorough descriptions of the kingdoms, the lands, the cultures, the languages, the histories, the legends that animate the world on Neir. So far, we published some demo manuals. In English, we have released this quest here for first level. The English edition is also available in PDF and print edition on Amazon or Drive through RPG. The English edition of this adventure is called The Creeping Death. It takes place in Mendulias Rock. Mendulias Rock is one of the major cities of the continent. It's a large metropolis on the coast. And it's a detective quest. Basically, the adventurers will have to understand and find out who is behind some very heinous killings that have taken place in Mendulias Rock. And this will also introduce players in the world of La Notte Eterna 5 edition. Then we have this other book out, Racconti della Notte Eterna, Tales of La Notte Eterna. This is several stories, including that of Red Shadow, which is one of the characters of La Notte Eterna, a human assassin. Basically, it's several stories of characters, good or bad, heroes or villains, that are part of the setting. And then we have this other demo manual out, Bestiary of La Notte Eterna. This is the Italian edition. Bestiary of La Notte Eterna includes some of the monsters that you will find in the real setting that we will publish eventually following our Kickstarter campaign, end of May, beginning of June. In fact, coming soon on Kickstarter, we will have the full setting manual that will be around 350 pages long with all the mechanics, the new races, the full descriptions of the kingdoms, the legends, the histories of these kingdoms, several magical objects, true magic, mechanical meteors, the playable races, etc., etc. We'll have the full bestiary. So we'll have the master book of the setting, complete of all the new monsters that are introduced in the setting, including the Loyak, the spirit of destruction you see in this drawing, and many others. As I said, we're also introducing 3 new dragons. So if you love dragons, you should really look forward for that. New demons, etc. We are currently releasing on a monthly basis a newsletter. This is no regular newsletter where we're trying to spam or send you coupons or any of that. What we do is that we send once a month free lore and gaming material with this newsletter. It could be character sheets, it could be new magical objects, uh, hints to stories, or like the one we are sending out this month. It could be a quest in its own right, a full quest that you can play with the monsters, artifacts, etc. And this for free in English, of course. What you're seeing now is the Italian edition of the newsletter. This was sent out in English on a monthly basis to all our subscribers. And again, we do not send spam. We only send one email per month with information that will enable you to understand the setting better, to get to know it, and to really start playing and moving around the large continent of Neir. Yes, these are some of the newsletters that we are providing, that we're sending out. And I just seen there the dice set. I want to tell you a little bit more about the Kickstarter campaign that we'll be sending out that will be starting end of May, beginning of June. And this Kickstarter campaign will include again the full setting manual, the master manual, and our very cool dice set that you see here. The dice basically draw inspiration from the angelic theme of the game. So from the celestial war taking place between the gods. And the design was created by a very talented Catalonian artist, very talented Catalonian artist, Echanove. Sorry, this is my son. He's also very interested in the game and can't wait to that for when it's out. So in addition to the dice, we will have miniatures, minis, of some of the coolest monsters of La Notte Eterna 5 setting. And this box will be made entirely in wood, handmade by a very talented Italian artist. It will contain the setting manual, the dice, and some of the minis. And the miniatures, I like to show them to you, if possible. Steven, if you can show the miniatures, please. And yes, so the guy who's behind the scenes doing all the video part is also playing. Also has his son playing about. So we will show you the miniatures in a few instances. So what the What we're really trying to do is to present you with this project, this very long project. Again, as I said, it'll take some time to get all the material together. We're also looking for people who are up to play with us, to get to talk to us, to know more about the game. We're on Instagram, we are on Facebook, Twitter, Telegram. So really, and we will, most important, we will soon be releasing our quick start guide in English. Yes, you can see here the miniatures of the Botanox, the Loyak, and the Soul Hunter, which are three of the monsters that are introduced in La Notte Eterna setting. So that is all for now. We play every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Rome time. We're playing an adventure in Italian. We're also looking for players, for American players, British players, Australians, whatever you are from. If you can speak English, we'll be happy to play with you and introduce you to the game. So look us up on Instagram, Telegram, Facebook, La Notte Eterna 5 edition. We'll be very happy to respond to any question you might have. And again, we'll soon be issuing the quick start guide in English. So that is all for now. Thank you for following this video, and we really look forward to talk to you and tell you more about our project. Thank you, goodbye, and the moon smile on you.